One thinks of a child growing up with two mommies or two daddies, what will the consequences be?
Really?
And I said to him, no,
You mean
Harold.
with his religion?
And the surgery he'd had heart surgery, I think. And it was something about me here. I am still walking around the earth looking good and healthy, and he was goddamn near dead.
Good evening, I'm Ann Medina, and welcome to the Leaders Debate 2000. There are 5 party leaders participating tonight. They are Jean Chrétien of the Liberal Party, Gilles Duceppe of the Bloc Québécois, Joe Clark of the Progressive Conservative Party, Stockwell Day of the Canadian Alliance, and Alexa McDonough of the New Democratic Party.
Then I wake up in the morning, I'm still asleep. I really don't want no toast. I want no OJ, no tea, and no cereal. Eat me a yogurt drink, I'm wanting first. Oh, give me up, me mama smooth, yup. Me mama give me up, me mama when the morning come. Give me up, me mama, yup, me mama. Yup for when the morning come.
It's called funny money, but no one's laughing at the wave of counterfeit $100 bills showing up in cash registers across southern Ontario. Store owners are so worried about the fakes that they're taking drastic action. As Norman Hermont reports, they're looking at large bills and saying no sale.
It's a nasty surprise for anyone stepping up to pay for just about anything. At places that accept almost any form of payment, the $100 bill is not welcome.
We expected to get some $100 bills this morning. We did, and we refused them.
Signs like these are everywhere, from mom-and-pop shops to the big chains. A surge in counterfeit 100s has store owners on the lookout. Many just won't take big bills, and that has left many shoppers frustrated.
And that's all I had from the bank machine was a couple of 50s, a couple of 100s. And I had to come down and cash it in. They would not take it.
It's a great inconvenience because it means you have to go back to the bank to get it changed over.
By giving away this popular rolling backpack with a popular Motorola cell phone for $0, we've come up with an extremely popular offer. Now, only at Radio Shack, a Motorola Talk About Digital phone and a rolling backpack are yours for $0 when you sign up with Rogers AT&T Wireless Service. Hurry, they're going fast. Radio Shack, you've got questions, we've got answers.
Diplomatic posts in North America and abroad to be on alert. And then in just 3 days ago, September 7th, there was a worldwide caution issued by the State Department that said that U.S. citizens and interests abroad may be at increased risk of a terrorist action from extremist groups, and warned in particular in areas like Korea and Japan.
Thanks for joining us in what must be an incredibly...
Une situation politique extrêmement peut-être délicate. Or, quelles peuvent être les conséquences? Est-ce qu'on peut déjà imaginer les conséquences en matière, par exemple, de...
I mean, obviously it's horrifying. On a personal level, you know, I have a wife and a small child in Manhattan, so... Yeah.
Do they live there?
They live there. Haven't been able to reach them, no.
Each of the planes is undergoing security inspections before passengers are allowed to leave. Most of them have been waiting since this morning. Some are requesting psychological help. in dealing with the atrocities back home.
We have people on site, and there are some people that are requesting it and are working with the counselors.
Maritimers are also struggling.
20 minutes later, the North Tower also collapses, and mass
United States. 9 out of 10 Americans polled late today say the attacks are an act of war. Roughly half of the Americans polled say they are very confident in President Bush's ability to handle the situation. 9 out of 10 say today's attacks are the most tragic event of their lifetime. We are continuing with our coverage of the events of this day. We will be back shortly, but for now we return you to CNN and their continuing coverage.
The Latin Grammys at the Great West Forum are canceled. Instead, the vast parking lot is home to a makeshift police command post. Across town, movie lots are deserted.
Can I just ask, are you guys completely closed today?
Yeah.
So there's no tours going on?
No activity on the lot.
Even all the movie production, everything is shut down?
Right, production, other than a couple of people in their offices finishing up what they're doing.
In Los Angeles, a city with a tragic connection to today's attack, it is impossible to lock out the horror. Residents here are simply stunned.
Well, a lot of children lost their parents today. A lot of parents lost their children. I think it's a very difficult day. I think the world has changed.
AT&T Canada offers a complete range of communication services, from your business line to fully managed data to e-business solutions. Everything a growing business needs to become a force to be reckoned with. Prepare for takeoff.
There's a report now out tonight on BuzzFeed that I have not heard it, includes an audio clip of what appears to be you on Howard Stern talking on the radio on September 11th, 2002. He asked you, are you for invading Iraq? You said, yeah, I guess so. You know, I wish the first time it was done correctly. Is that accurate? Do you remember saying that?
No, but I mean, I could have said that. Nobody asked me. I wasn't a politician. It was probably the first time anybody asked me that question.
But does that?
But by the time the war started, that was quite a bit before.
Yeah, this was 2002.
Yeah, by the time the war started, I was against the war.
What do we want? 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 What do we want?
Calgary Southeast. Mr. Speaker, when his communications director insulted the American president, at first the Prime Minister defended her. 2 weeks ago, when one of his members expressed her hatred for Americans and then joked about it on TV, he defended her. And now, his energy minister has insulted again the elected leader of our principal ally, and the Prime Minister has not yet reprimanded him. When will the Prime Minister stand in his place and make it clear that these damaging anti-American remarks are completely unacceptable from members of his government?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister. The Minister yesterday issued a communique clarifying his position, and I was very happy that he did clarify it. And in the caucus yesterday, I said to all the members of my caucus that it was not the time to have any remark of that nature. And I'm sure that the great majority of them will understand that we have to respect the decision of the Americans, just like they respect our own decision.
The honourable member for Calgary Southeast. Is that the same kind of clarification we got from the member for Mississauga Centre, which was to joke about it?
Prime Minister, which
Which proposal do you prefer on the Iraq situation, the U.S. proposal or the French proposal?
The debate is starting at this time, and there will be a lot of discussion, so we're waiting to see what will be the debate. We're not members of the Security Council. We don't have to vote, but we want to try to have a solution that will avoid a conflict, and so the ambassador is talking with everybody there, and the debate will start on Thursday, and we'll advise.
Compromise?
Oh, there is room for between the two positions if possible, but I don't know if it is possible to find a compromise. But Canada, everybody is in favor of peace. We all hope that there will be no war, and so I am in communication with my ambassador at the UN, who is talking with a lot of people there.
With only emergency lights to guide them, commuters rushed to get home. But with subways stalled in mid-run, travelers soon found themselves back outside with only one option: to wait.
You have to be patient. What else can you do?
Many tried getting hold of loved ones. Only a few were able to get through.
Just calling to let you know that I'm fine, everything's okay.
Meanwhile, thousands continue to pour out of office towers, some stumbling downstairs in complete darkness for close to an hour.
Just came down from the 39th floor.
I think it's taken us about 45 minutes. Our legs are aching.
Right across the province, power was down, affecting an estimated 10 million people. In the darkness comes the fear and the question, however irrational, could this be another September 11th?
You can't allow that. If you allow that, you'll panic when there's nothing.
By early evening, fear turned to anger at Ontario's premier for privatizing hydro.
So if this is what's happening because of brownout, I'm not voting for Ernie Eves. That's for damn sure.
Ontario has had its share of power problems, but the premier blames upstate New York.
They had a problem, and because all the transmission systems are interlinked in northeastern North America for those jurisdictions, it affects everybody, not just the originator of the problem.
Emergency crews scrambled throughout the city, rescuing the countless trapped in elevators. This woman was treated after having trouble breathing.
Just calls aren't getting serviced. It's just too busy right now, trying to keep up.
At the airports, thousands were stranded, with most flights grounded.
Have you received any information yet?
I've received none at all. I've actually just been to the desk to complain now.
Independent market organizers are urging people to turn off their appliances in case of a power surge.
We will ensure that our legislation includes and legally recognizes the union of same-sex couples. There is evolution in the society, and according to the interpretation of the courts, they concluded that these unions should be legal in Canada.
Here's to us, our lawyers, and Canada.
I salute the Prime Minister for his leadership. The Prime Minister has shown that he respects the fundamental principles of the Charter of Rights.
One thinks of a child growing up with two mommies or two daddies. What will the consequences be?
We have a definition of marriage in our act. That's what we will uphold.
It's probably one of the best things that's happened in Canada for a long time. Although the rest of the world may not realize it yet, it's going to happen.
You don't need to be married. That's for families and stuff like that. That's not for us.
In the end, it doesn't matter. You love who you love, be with who you love.
Great.
I'm wearing high heels.
Oh, she's wearing high heels.
But aren't these pants great? I love these pants.
Who's going to buy a pair of these pants as soon as they can?
Yeah,
I figured that. See? I kind of knew that. We've got an email question from you for you, and this one's from North Vancouver, BC. It's from Leah, and she asks, I'd like to ask Avril if she is really having a feud with Hilary Duff.
Oh, here you go.
Boy.
That was so 98. No, I'm kidding. No, whatever. I mean, she said something, I said something, and then it ended up in like 20 magazines.
Look, you can have a country like Canada, or you can have a country like the U.S., but you can't have a country like Canada with the taxation levels of the U.S. Not without risking the very social programs, the institutions and values that make us, us. We look out for one another. That's the Canada we choose, prosperous, yet generous of spirit. We hope that's the Canada you'll choose too.
A message brought to you by the Liberal Party of Canada.
Of course,
of government activity, the inability for us to interact as neighbors, as citizens, a sense of community. That's the root cause of the difficulties we have now. And so if all we do is aim at enhancing turnout electorally, we're not getting into the root cause of the problem.
The rags to riches story of Canadian superstar Shania Twain has become legendary.
When I was younger, when I was a teenager, when I first came to Canada, I was very self-conscious and not sure of myself, but throughout the years I learned how to love myself and believe in myself and just be proud of who I am. And that is my message to all young girls, because I know there's a lot of issues surrounding self-confidence issues.
Do you know what it was like for me? It's like, you know, like in the 50s and 60s when you die, you go to this big screening room in the sky and they show your life and they judge you by it.
Yeah.
I felt so judged.
Oh,
it was so weird.
Yeah,
no,
judged with a standing ovation.
No, but it's like, okay, there's this experiment, like you spit into a bowl and then you let it sit for 10 seconds, then you lick it back up and you can't because it's you but it's not you anymore.
Good evening, everybody. From Montreal, I'm Steve Paikin of TV Ontario. This is the second round of Leaders' Debates organized by Canada's major television networks. We're in English tonight, French tomorrow night. In this debate, I'll be asking all the questions, which were crafted with the help of producers at CBC, CTV, and Global Television. The party leaders were given a list of broad themes that we will explore tonight, but of course, they were not given the actual questions. They will hear them for the first time over the next 2 hours, as you do.
They're talking about poor children. I think they should realize.
To negotiate platforms, obviously all of us are running on the ideas we want to put forward. I have said in the past that I have a lot of respect for the work that Ed Broadbent did on ethics and accountability. I believe our package on that is stronger, but quite frankly, there's nothing in there that I see incompatible with what Mr. Broadbent has suggested there.
I'm the sous chef here. With any luck, I should be head chef by next year. I've got this amazing fiance, who I won't be marrying this weekend, because I'm about to be in a terrible accident. But really, I should have cleaned up the grease over there, and they should never put the deep fryer so close.
Somebody help me!
Hello, Canada and hockey fans in the United States and Newfoundland.
It's nighttime in a kitchen just like yours. All is quiet. Or is it?
Canada went through the financial crisis of the last 5 years in a much better way than most countries. Canada went through the financial crisis of the last 5 years in a much better way than most countries around the world. And it did so because it had been prepared over many years in advance of the financial crisis. The steps that were taken between 2008 and 2013 were well done by Canadian authorities and Canadian governments, but the real trick was in the 10 and 15 years prior to the financial crisis. The country had put itself in a very strong financial position. Governments were not in positions of deficit. Debt levels at the government level were relatively low. When you looked at the individual situation in Canada, Canadians were not over-levered. Canadians didn't have extreme mortgages with very high ratios of debt to the home value.
We are back. Are we back?
Yes, we are.
We are back, and we are ready for these bells. Mark, we wanted to just zip through with everybody before we open to give people a sense of the... Actually, we're going to go now.
Ready. I don't have any list. I don't know who these people are. You don't have a list
No,
either.
I do not.
We
I
don't have the
apologize,
list. We
everyone.
apologize. We do not know who is ringing the opening bell or...
Bio-rad, it looks like, is ringing the opening bell.
Rad, dude. But we are underway, and I do mean underway.
We're getting trains on the board. We're around 50, but we should emphasize to everyone, it takes on a normal day quite a while to get an open. We didn't have the futures trading this morning, so we're down 101. Futures market, interestingly, Mark, look at the huge gap between Chicago and New York.
The NASDAQ opens everything. They are down 110 points on the NASDAQ.
Yeah.
So that opens everything simultaneously. So that was the extent of the futures decline.
Yes.
And a little bit more.
Let's ride this out and capture the extraordinary value that we see in the market today.
Art Cashin is with us, and Art, I want to get a sense from you of perspective here. We were halted, and now we're open, fully open. We're down 405. Is that a sign of a market that is perhaps more stable than you would have thought a couple hours ago?
Well, it's certainly not the amount of panic that was indicated in the foreign markets. This is like any other opening in the last 3 weeks.
Out of that problem is a very severe contraction.
But that's also
and
why
right
I
now,
argue,
that's the question. It could be either one.
But that's why I also argue at this point, we went at the banks with the TARP to try to buy a little bit of time to deal with this.
That low that we hit in both the Dow and the S&P 2 weeks ago exactly.
Quebec. Well, we can tell you we have seen enough. We've been checking the numbers, checking the figures, and are making our determination now. We are saying it is going to be a conservative minority government.
I'm just one person. What can I do about climate change? I can choose to make a difference. I can unite with millions, and I can turn a global issue into a global movement. Last year, I joined 10 million Canadians and 50 million others in turning my lights off for 1 hour in support of the biggest call to action on climate change. Last year was just the beginning. March 28th at 8:30 p.m., turn your lights off and help WWF make history. Join the movement at earthhourcanada.org.
The Queen of Canada came to perform one of her more curious regal duties, signalling the start of Vancouver's big pre-season game by ceremonially dropping the puck. Canadians are passionate about their national sport, and this was a surefire way of securing their affection. They went wild.
I think it was really neat that she came here to drop the puck. She's going to watch the hockey game.
I think it's absolutely wonderful. She's really touched the spirit of what being a Canadian is all about.
This has been a 2021 Wolfie Terrier production, In the Sun.